As is mine. To repeat from before, the last section was actually recorded by me because...
I'm an idiot.
No,
I-
you're
I
not.
wasn't recording.
You hit the button, it didn't work. That does not make you an idiot.
None of us here are idiots. All of us here do idiotic things at times.
Fair enough.
This is a strong belief of mine. Although I think it's that I normally use it with the word fool, but no, it was back when I liked to call myself an idiot a lot. I am not an idiot, but I will often do idiotic things or make idiot moves. This is true about every single person. Okay, actually, wait. Some people might be idiots, but you get my point. Everyone makes idiot moves at times. Anyway.
Anyways, Derium.
Derium! We're going to go ahead and pick up with you guys leaving from Deacon's store, having sold your items to Cherry.
No, we're leaving the paint store.
Right, you are leaving Griselda's paint.
Well, what now?
I think I need to do crusade things.
I think we need to do crusade things. To Crossmalia, then.
We're
Let's.
bouncing around a lot today, aren't we?
I know, it's weird.
We're going so many places.
Well, off we go.
Off you go indeed, as you can teleport out and arrive in... Teleport off and arrive in Grossmalia. The various multi-districted city, like Duazil, though Duazil is more coherent in its architectural stylings. You can arrive in Grossmalia in the middle of the large Forum. In the large Forumnus Agrippa, in front of the Cathedral of the Sun. It stands massive, the long building with large windows to allow sun to move through, carved stone walls with, I forget what their names are, but the displays carved into the walls with multiple figures. Can't quite place it, unfortunately. Its large main spire and its two other spires off to the sides. The city square here is still quite busy. Not as it had been previous times that you've been through, but fairly bustling, muttering and talking. As you look around, several people will notice your snitch, Valens, that flies around you, as they seem to have recognized the snitch that overflew the city about a couple weeks ago at this point.
Yeah.
That is not something quickly forgotten.
No.
What would you guys like to do?
Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think we've got a place to be.
Yeah,
All right.
That's what I was gonna say.
In that case, you can walk forward and into the Cathedral of the Sun. This area, unlike the square, is not nearly as bustling as it was when you were last here. You can see there are still some various priests stationed along either side, just holding smaller services, but not as many, nor are there nearly as many patrons here as there were previously. You can still see some near the front, more explaining things to people who don't know what's going on. Various braziers, priests of the different gods holding smaller ceremonies or having counseling with a few people at a time. you can see and recognize, after having been to North Derium, several sacrificial altars, although not nearly as large because they're not for people. There are smaller ones for small animal sacrifices, like doves and such, so that they don't need to go deeper into the temple, but larger ones are probably brought in through a different door, because
A
you
big
don't...
animal.
This is a big animal, and you also don't want
Move,
to...
everyone! I'm gonna pull a big fucking cow through the entire cathedral.
Exactly!
Move.
I'm throwing you out. I'm actually mitigating you.
These are altars of slightly different design, looking to be more for incense offerings and similar things. At the back, you can see the large, almost stage-like area where you first saw. Let me find the Archpriest Montefeltro. Doing what he did previously, which was standing out there and having recently ended, based on when you last met him, a group prayer, just sort of standing there and taking questions from everyone. Regardless of the person's or the question's importance, he weighs them all equally and just answers them all. And last time, it looked like he was just going to stay there until everyone's questions were answered. Or he needed to go sit down because he's like 80. It's not Montefeltro this time, as he seems as he's not here. But it does seem one of the more powerful priests has been given this duty. It's not like they just handed it off to someone unimportant. There are also a few paladins in the room, standing as sort of like paladin on call, so that you can stumble into the temple and have people who are able to go out, as well as guarding the entrances to the less just generically open to the public portions of the cathedral.
Fair enough.
What would you like to do?
I'd like to bug a paladin.
Alright, there's a paladin guarding both the right and left wings. The left wing is where you went last time when you met Obgyn.
Montefeltro.
Sorry, Montefeltro. Obgyn is the guy in Duazzel.
Which we would never mix up with Montefeltro.
No, never.
No, never. We would have never made that mistake. His name and mannerisms should have tipped me off. Anyway. As, Montefeltro, interestingly enough, is based on a historical figure. Of the same name.
Ooh.
So I should have seen that coming. What would you guys like to do?
Bug a paladin, apparently.
Alright, would you like to bug the paladin on the right or on the left?
Left.
Alright, you can go ahead and go towards the paladin on the left, as the various staff here seem to recognize both you, like as an Archpriest of Taliesin, and you specifically, Valence. You can approach as the paladin guarding the door will see you approach and say, "Surveillance!"
Greetings.
You're back.
I am indeed. I need to speak to someone, probably Montefeltro, but I'm not really sure, about the crusade, and I have a way into North Derium for some units of men, not all of them.
Yes, you'd want Montefeltro. He's... honestly, he's been organizing it as best he can. He has been awake far more than he normally is, so he rarely leaves the cathedral. We've been trying to get him to get more rest, but... come, I'll take you to him. I think he's in a conference with the other leaders, Heronius, and some of the people on the front. They're in Dubhine by now, heading through it.
Oh,
The
good.
Duazil cavalry arrived quickly, but the foot soldiers took longer to get here, which is why the crusade is not nearly as far along. It'll probably take us a few more weeks to continue making our way all the way to North Derium. He'll say this as he leads you back deeper into the temple, leading you through the same sort of winding corridors that you've been before, but with the wide archway-based windows that lead out and let in large portions of sunlight. Even the interior portions seem to have many courtyards scattered throughout in order to allow more sun into the hallways and rooms. After a few minutes, he'll lead you to a small waiting room, and on the other side, a small waiting room with a door on the other side. You can hear what sounds something like a fire, but does not quite sound right. Not quite like a fire. Yes, the sanctum's currently active, which means he's speaking with the other leaders of the crusade. If your items are of immediate military importance, perhaps we should interrupt to let the others know.
We could get people into Fionale. Well, right outside of it.
The question is, do you wish to speak to Archpriest Montefeltro first, or inform everyone all at once?
It's a mighty good question. I might want to just speak to him.
In that case, we can wait.
Waiting is fine by me.
Then he will sit down in one of the various chairs. They're white with some yellow trimming, like this tannish white. He'll gesture for you to sit down in them as well. They're plush, cushioned chairs.
Solved.
Hmm?
Solved.
Solved, indeed.
We will sit and wait.
Alright. About 15 or 20 minutes will pass before the sort of fire, it's very similar to the sound, actually, of flame strike. A longer, more continuous version of flame strike, holy flames, will cease. And the door will open to show both Montefeltro and the Archpriestess of Sarenrae, whose name you do not know, I do not believe. The two of them will go ahead and walk through. Will walk through and see you and the paladin that you've brought with you as you arrive. Valence.
Greetings.
Greetings. It is good to see you again, although I must say it is a surprise.
I'm a bit surprised as well, but we came across something rather important.
He will look around and see that, Cassie, roll a D% for me.
Okay. $12.
Cassie has accidentally taken his favorite chair. as the paladin gestured at a chair for Valence, and he didn't take the archpriest's chair, but Cassie was not indicated a seat.
Oh no, Cassie.
I'm in your spot, aren't I?
He looks like he wasn't going to say anything, but it's clear on his face.
Oh.
Thank you, this chair. Cassie, having gravitated towards one of the nicest of the chairs.
Noble.
Thank you. It is. I find this chair has eased some of the pains in my legs. He'll walk over and sit in it slowly, as Ferrara will go ahead and take her chair as well. That is the Archpriestess of Sarenrae. Ferrara, the
Yes.
Archpriestess of Sarenrae, will go ahead and take her chair as well. You say that you've found something of importance.
Yes. He's going to pick up the portable hole and just kind of hold it up. I have the Colossus Palorum in this.
You jest.
I do not. We made it smaller temporarily so we could put it in here, but we have it.
The Colossus Palorum, you found it. I suppose it wouldn't have been hard to find. It would have been
No,
very
once
hard
we
to
were-
reach.
It was exceedingly hard to reach, but very easy to find.
I hadn't even considered that we might see that again. At least, certainly not within my lifetime.
Well, you will, I suppose. I have been informed more or less that important, I guess you could call it an artifact. I really do not know what to call it.
Monument?
Monument can be used as a relay point for potential mass teleportation.
Yes, it's a difficult spell, but it can be. It's been used to defend great churches in times of need.
I was thinking we could use it for that purpose.
I...
Fionn Hale. The Church of Pelor there has been converted to one of, I believe it's Hextor?
God of Conquest.
There is, as far as I know, one Pelor priest still in the city doing his best, but
He stands alone.
who knows? Who knows how long he will last? We are planning the simultaneous attack on 3 towns in North Derium, and we would need this, and of course the Crusades' cooperation to teleport in. Well, not all of them, of course, that's too much, but
We could
a
not
few units.
bring the full horse. Perhaps some of the volunteered knights, the elite, and a few of our units of our that our paladins have trained, heavy infantry, but not very many. Not if the town has a strong garrison. We could move 2 at a time. This cathedral would be able to perform the ritual, as would the one in Duazil.
I think it might be enough.
Yes,
The garrison
we
there
could...
is nothing special as far as I know. Well, they're skeletons, but
what we have come to expect, yes. I can speak with the other commanders, have them stop in have the elites stop in one of the temples nearby, and we can we can assist we can assist the temples. Lend our aid to help the unit priests there move forward if we're...
Thank you.
This would put the men in question at great risk. But the Colossus... Having the Colossus back would give them much strength, and I must consider the words of my head paladin and what advice he would be giving me were he still here.
I can still hear his voice.
Stop telling people I'm dead.
Oh, he's not dead merely with the crusade.
You're being out of character. Sorry, Seven.
No, but the thing is, it was easy to take from what he said the implication that he was dead. He was thinking about correcting himself anyway.
Ah, I presumed as much.
Yes. It would put the men themselves at great risk, but... Would you have any forces that you would like to commit? Your individuals have seemed quite powerful.
What is he asking?
You have any of your own units you want to bring with? The units themselves don't need to be special. It's the priests that perform the ritual.
Oh.
And while having larger temples helps, it doesn't need to be. Some of the older stories have had armies recalled in the field in defense of temples. So long as a cleric powerful enough is present. Holy sites, transmission between holy sites helps, but even Dawnchad would be large enough to move troops.
Huh.
Well, time to bust out the,
I think we maybe if John Chad's big enough, we may have a solution for Jay's unit.
We may.
Am I correct in that assumption, Seven?
You are correct indeed.
Huh. So I
think
guess
that
the answer
together,
to this question is
particularly
yes.
with this...
Sorry,
yes. Particularly with this cathedral, we could move 6 units. Actually, no, it would actually just be 6 units of men to the Colossus. At least to appear quickly, but they would arrive in waves of 2 each. If there's a garrison within the town, they would be easily overwhelmed.
We will be putting the Colossus far enough outside the town that they will not have time to muster and get to the Colossus before we have a sufficient fighting force.
Wise. Also, Caspian would know the troops in the town itself are human, and there aren't very many.
Where the hell are skeletons?
Not in the town, but likely nearby, similar to Demut.
We probably want to send Enro along. Just in case they come They attack from an angle we're not expecting.
You're right. I guess I will fill him in on what little tactical information I have about Field Hill then, because I was remembering wrong.
What did you remember?
I was wrong.
What did you remember? I might also be. I may have
No,
been.
I was not correct. I know this.
Ah. Okay.
Because the thing you said just completely contradicted what I thought, because I did not remember.
What?
I thought there were skeletons in the town. That is what I was remembering. I was incorrect.
There are some, just not a unit full.
Yeah, exactly. Wrong. I was wrong. Let's continue.
Okay.
I fill him in.
This could be doable, then.
And we have a battlefield specialist of a kind. Where if these skeletons attack from an unusual angle, he will be able to raise walls to force them to go around. Rhythm just dropped.
I suppose. Oh. Rhythm did. Interesting, Rhythm. Alright. He'll look towards Cassandra. I could lend you good knights or heavy infantry for the initial 2. That is what I am most concerned of. Being immediately overwhelmed.
I believe we have a unit of cavalry that we can send in the first wave. But we could use the infantry, for sure.
Good. Alright. I'm assuming that you will have a... Will it be our commanders or yours?
Let me see here. Hang on. I need to think through some deployments here. Oh boy. I'm gonna be in Demut. Valence is gonna be in Culane. We just committed J to Fiona Hale.
is in Kulain, you're in Demut.
Mm-hmm. I think Sorn was going to end up being the one to teleport into Fionhale and drop the Colossus.
It was
And
Emerus, I think.
Was it Emerus?
Because she's the one that has the spell on the Colossus and needs to dispel it.
Right. Okay, so Emerus is committed to Fionhale already.
So Sorn is getting you into Demut.
Sorn's getting me into Demut.
Caspian's with you.
Is Caspian with me?
Yes.
Okay. So Caspian, Sorn, Cassie, and Demut. Emerus
I
and
remember
Gay
this
are in
because I had someone in
Fionhale.
each town. Kind of weird that Sorn isn't in Kulain because you have nothing to do when we're in the Kulain section.
Sorrow could
Mhm.
teleport you into Demut.
That's
Oh,
true,
you're
she's
right.
been there now.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, Sorry did that, and then Sorn can be in Kulain. So that you have someone in Kulain. I remember we had Luke in Kulain.
Mhm. So that's actually a really nice split because we've got 3 commanders in every location then.
Lucas can be anywhere she's needed. And I presume Riza can as well.
Mhm.
We've kind of committed Enro to Fionhale.
Right, he's the 3rd. I feel like if we need more heroes on the field anywhere, it's going to be Tulane. Or Fionhale, it could be either of them.
Because Kulain's not
But,
going to be quite as happy to see us.
mhm.
Whereas Demut, we're just like, hey, we're here and we've killed the skeletons. They're gonna be like, yay! Kulain's
And
like,
Tulane also has the border guard nearby, apparently. Whereas Fionhale doesn't.
But given how rowdy the town was, it probably
Oh,
has a
one moment.
more substantial garrison.
mm-hmm.
Sorry, I returned.
Welcome back.
Fionhale, something about rowdiness?
Fionhale, given how the population is somewhat rowdy, they probably have a more substantial garrison for the town.
Hmm.
I feel like between Riza and Lucas, we want one in Kulain and one in Fionhale.
I think so, yeah.
Where we're more likely to need a sniper.
I feel like we're more likely to run into big things in Fionhale.
But I think Riza and Fionhale.
I think so.
Which means Lucas and Kulain.
I'm going to write this down.
Please write this down.
I have also written this down.
That's a pretty good spread.
It is.
With the twins there, I think I'm going to probably
Twins.
not twins, kids. This is why I don't use specific nouns. I always get them wrong. Anyway, the Fiona Hale mass combat is likely to be run by you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we are kind of sending a whole bunch of NPCs to handle that. Like,
We are, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
NPCs and Lucasi.
Well, the Consi's in Kulain.
Right.
Listen, NPCs and Lucasi's
Wait.
worse than just NPCs.
Okay, we had 4 people going to Fiona Hale. Who was the 4th?
Riza.
We got
Emro?
Jay, Riza, Enro.
Emrys. She's the one.
Emrys. Thank you. She's got the teleport. Right.
She's got the teleport, and she's gonna have the Colossus because she needs to dispel the he's little effect.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, sword. There. Okay. We can commit 4 of our own commanders to that front.
Alright. At the next communion hall, tell the front commanders to gather volunteers.
Thank you.
If you'll be commanding, I suppose that is better. We'd send the commanders with their units, but they would likely have to be deployed in defense. Now that, even if you place the Colossus a ways out, I expect that the ritual could be completed once more, perhaps once more before they were able to move against it. Perhaps twice for the total, but it would depend on how fast they moved. And I do not wish to. I would prefer to overestimate them than underestimate them. Which other units would you like to arrive? Because so far you've got Jays and Crusader heavy infantry slated. Who else do you want showing up?
And we have how many?
6.
6 total. Two that are definitely going to be in the battle.
What are our options?
Do you want cavalry, infantry?
Well, we need at least 1 more unit of infantry, I think.
No, you guys can get 6 units total. Which ones would you like? You can probably. I'm realizing that they can. The second 2 rituals can happen at the same time, or in very quick succession. Because the first one takes time because it needs to complete, and the guys need to get there before they can tell people back. And then the ritual starts, and then the other 2 can show up.
Okay. Crusader heavy. I feel like we want at least 1 more unit of Crusader, of heavy infantry. Because there's basically no reason not to go for heavy. They're slower, but they're going to last longer. More effective shock troops. Thinking probably a total of 3 units of infantry, 2 archers, and then Jay's cavalry.
That works. Tanadin, do you have any thoughts?
Can you please say what you said again, Lena? Like, what is our
3.
current lineup now?
Currently, we have Jay's cavalry, and we have 1 unit of infantry. I'm thinking we want to go up to 3 units of infantry, 2 units of archers, and Jay's cavalry.
Works for me.
Okay. If you can spare them, I think we'd probably want a total of 3 units of infantry and 2 units of archers.
I'm more concerned about the units that are going than depleting our forces elsewhere. I want to give those standing with the Colossus the best chance we can.
There's 2 thought processes that I'm going through here. The first is putting in units that have high survivability to guarantee that we hold the town for as long as possible. The other thought is send in only Cav and try to take everything like that. Just a fast hit and run attack.
That sounds like a bad idea.
That feels like a bad idea.
Cav Rush is certainly a strategy, and it's one that I have used many a time.
This is not a mini game.
Well, remember, y'all actually saw how effective Cav Rush was. Oh, I don't remember if it was... Cav Rush happened during the UNT fight, when you got Cav reinforcements, and they just decided to... And I don't remember how effective the Cav Rush was.
Jay killed like 3 units with his Cav. If I recall correctly. Jay and Valence together on Cav was like 50% of the fight. It was very funny. I feel like that's probably a bad idea, though.
Mm-hmm.
The other...
Yeah. What? What?
Related to that, do you want the first unit that comes with Jay to be heavy infantry or knights? Which is heavy cavalry. Which is sort of just... They are kind of just better than heavy infantry. But they're also cavalry, and therefore can't form lines very well.
Mm-hmm.
Knights are a stronger unit than heavy infantry. However, they are not effective defensive troops.
Mm-hmm. And our immediate goal is to defend the Colossus.
Well, correction. They are not effective protecting troops. They're very good at defending a point by running forward and smashing the enemy trying to take the point. They are not amazing at defending, archers.
Mm-hmm.
This is a problem that you might have in Kulain because you don't have very many infantry.
Yeah, I don't know what our
Yeah.
Kulane situation is.
How about we figure out what troops you've got sitting in the temple, what troops you will end up having.
We need to talk to the mercenaries first, I think.
We know that I can just tell you that the mercenaries are 3 units of archers. Up to 3 units of archers.
Oh god.
Yeah, we have 3 units of cav and 3 units of archers.
Great.
And 1 unit of
Great.
infantry.
Do we have
Great.
a unit of infantry?
Luke's unit is infantry.
Luke. Sorry, 2 units of cav, an infantry unit, and 3 archers.
Hmm.
Huh.
Hmm.
Huh.
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 Huh. Huh.
Huh.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, a little.
Maybe we should send Enro to Ghislaine.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
We need the walls in Ghislaine. Because we do not have the infantry there.
Should we send Lucasa to Fionhale then?
I think we should.
Alright, NPCs and Lucasi! SMH, it's what you get for only having 2 PCs. You can play Graukas.
Well, that's fine. Emrys is there. She's still decent at battlefield control.
Well, I mean, Lena can play the snipers, kinda.
No, my point. What? Sorry, I was making a different point.
Ah. Oh,
My
about
point was,
handling Fionhale. Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, I think that Tanadin having a character in Fionhale is good because I think Lena is better at engaging without a character on the screen.
Mm-hmm. I struggle. Because I need a lens to look at it through, and if I don't have that lens, I'm like, well, what am I doing? It's why I'm a bad spectator.
Fair.
Whereas me and Lena can look at it through, like, the tactician's lens.
Yeah, I think in Fiona Hill we're gonna send Jay and a unit of infantry through first to hold the point.
Okay.
And then you said the other 2 are arriving simultaneously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Our most balanced strike team composition is in Demut, which has the lowest threat level.
Yeah. I love the trio of Cassie, Sarah, and Caspian.
It's a very good trio.
The 3 least likely to kill someone. Like, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
Kasara will not go out of her way and will probably feel bad. Caspian's a pacifist, and Cassie's quickly becoming a pacifist. Then Kulane, we have Valence, who will fight anyone. Luke, who his whole thing is this. Sorn, who I don't think pacifist is in his dictionary because he's a drow from the Underdark. And Enro, who I don't really understand Enro's goals or motivations other than rocks, but I feel like he has no problem crushing people to death with rocks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Hill, you have the kids who stole for a living, so whatever. Lucasi, who's killed before and will kill again. And Emrys, who, quote, is mean and has no morals. I do not know where this dynamic between Valence and Emma sprung up from, but they are so mean to each other, but I think they respect each other a lot. They just don't wish they didn't. I respect you so much, but you're mean and have no morals. And the thing is, Caspian was like, I'd defend you, but that was really funny. Like, that was deeply funny to him.
It was. It was incredibly funny. Well, I will let the commanders know. I doubt I'll be short for volunteers, but that is... That does not mean I am not concerned for them.
We'll do everything in our power to make sure they come back safe.
All this talk of war has made it so that I haven't even considered you've returned the Colossus to us. This is... important. This is monumentous.
It deserved better than to sit in the sands.
Yes, I thought it would never be recovered.
We weren't really sure we were going to manage it. I mean, it's kind of really, really big. That's kind of the point of it.
Yes. Very much so. I still remember what it looked like. I saw it in Denarius. Made a pilgrimage there.
What was Daenerys like then?
Ruled by the Emperor. Large. A grand city by all accounts, but you could see on the fringes where it had not fallen, but was not as grand as it had once been. I think that many would not have noticed. I doubt any Mitrite would have. He'll look at Ferrara. Most of the followers of Sarenrae, who I spoke to, were very much aware of it. I noticed only because I looked, because I am observant. I do not know what it was like in its time of glory, but you could see the signs that it had been more than it was.
Shame.
Yes. Yes, very much so. saw the Grand Temple Tepelo there. Magnificent monument. Far larger than this church. The massive stone plinth it stood upon, taller than this cathedral.
We saw it, didn't we? Like, we didn't go in, but we saw it.
I believe that you did see it in the distance, yes.
It was kind of impossible to miss, because it was such a big temple.
Mhm.
We saw it distantly. Like it was once an amazing place. Most of the
Yes.
temples, the insides are still in decent condition. They're still magical in there.
Monuments so great tend to receive some protection, even if abandoned. I do not know for how long, but they will last. I'm glad to hear that they've lasted this long. You make it sound like much of the city is still there.
It's there. It's stripped. It's covered in sand. It's filled with rycrene, but it's there.
And the flame of Astana still burns.
I see. I visited that small shrine as well. It was remarkably meaningful, for lacking the grandeur that many of the other temples I visited held. I can respect that of her. Perhaps is more fitting than the being able to say so much with so little is perhaps a better statement than the great things that we can say, but how much we must do to say them. The Colossus, once it is done being used for this purpose of war, what do you intend to do with it? If we can even manage to move it again, that is.
I was going to turn the jurisdiction over it back to your people. It is not our place to decide where the where a monument to Pedalor should stand, but if you need help moving it, we'd be happy to help.
I'm surprised that you were able to shrink it at all.
Took a little convincing, and he kind of like looks at Cassie like, "Thank you."
In that case, we may not be able to move it again. To bring it back among his followers and out of the ruins of Denarius is one thing, but perhaps Hannah would accept returning it to where it belonged once more, should Denarius ever be reclaimed, but apart from that, it is a great sacrifice to make something that powerful susceptible to magic. It, at least temporarily, I do not. That is something that even I do not know. Greatly strips it of its power.
I see.
It is the power itself that makes it unaffectable. To remove its protections is to remove the strength and energy within it.
Then I suppose Pelor really wanted it out of those ruins.
He can return its power, it's just a
Of course.
difficult task. But yes, most likely. You have given me a great many things to think on and divine on. And communion itself tires me. He'll toss a glance to the paladin that escorted you back here. I suppose I should be getting some rest.
I
We do
implore
want
you
to
to
keep
at least
you.
consider it.
We do want to keep you around after this war is over, Archpriest. He tried to say Archbishop, corrected himself to something else, and finally hit Archpriest. We do wish to keep you around after this war is over, Archpriest. Yes, I know. He will slowly stand from his cushiony chair and start to make his way towards the other door to the room. It has been good seeing you again, Surveillance.
It's been good to see you again. Thank you for your time.
Yes. And thank you for yours. And he will slowly walk out of the other door to the room, presumably back to towards somewhere that he can rest.
God, I hope so. Please get some rest, old man. You're doing so much work.
And with that, does that conclude your business here in the Temple of in the Temple of Pelor? See? Proper names.
I believe so.
In that case, do we want to break the recording here?
I think so.
I think so.
It's a shorter one than others, but it is a good place to leave it.
It's important.
So we'll go ahead and leave the recording here.